Hi there. This is Don McGlynn, and I'm the producer-director of Ed Thigpen, Master of Time, Rhythm, and Taste. This is the last podcast that is taken from my documentary, and it's kind of a really positive snapshot of what Ed's life was like at the end. Billy Taylor, who was a longtime friend and an early employer of his, sort of makes the point that Ed sort of found this perfect spot, which was he was able to teach and write and, play a lot of music, and he was able to continue to grow as a musician, whereas a lot of jazz musicians sort of had a hard time sort of making ends meet, and Ed just kept sort of carrying on and sort of diversifying, which was really great. And one of the nice things about this part of the documentary that you'll be also hearing in this podcast is a series of settings where Ed is doing different kinds of music. He's in a jazz club, he's doing a duet with Karsten Dale, the pianist. When you hear the sort of rehearsal where he's preparing for this big gig at Tivoli Amusement Park, which is kind of world famous there in Copenhagen, and you'll be hearing a song called Shufflin' Long. It's one of, it was a favorite of Ed's. You'll also be sort of hearing some comments about his family, how they admire him, and you also hear how I feel about Ed Thigpen. So I hope you enjoy this podcast.
It was very good for Ed to go to Europe and to do the things that he did, because it was the only opportunity he was going to get to pull all of the things that he was good at, to continue to record, to teach, to write music that he did. And he's one of the few guys that I think has really continued to grow with music.
For years and years, Ed was a sideman, and he made hundreds of records and did literally thousands of gigs. There was the occasional record that he would do where he was the leader, but it was actually in the 1990s where he really focused his energy on being a full-time leader.
Well, I'm going through a different phase now. Well, you're not as young, you don't jump as high, but doesn't mean you can't think as high. And at this point in my life, and for the next whatever I have, I want to be doing something with the music. And since I'm like writing, melody, and playing, it doesn't matter whether I'm playing the drum set or a tambourine or whatever, it's being part of show business and music.
Now we're going to see two of the bands that Ed leads these days. The first one is his Scan-Tet.
Some things I'm doing now are considered what they call avant-garde, but I call it descriptive music. I will define what I'm doing. Someone else doesn't have to do it. They will either enjoy it or not enjoy it. Hopefully they enjoy, but it will be diverse.
It's nice to come in a surrounding where it's like Ed in the focus, and this feels just very right now, I tell you.
This music we are playing is so open, so you can add anything on the top of it, actually.
There's a beautiful energy and chemistry between us, so it's very nice, beautiful.
Like now, the guys I have playing with me, never for me, with me, and I with them. I'm quite honored because I respect their musicianship so much, and the fact that they want to do my tunes and so forth makes me feel like, boy, that in itself is an honor, that they feel like doing your music.
The other band that Ed plays with a lot is his trio, with Karsten Dale on piano and Jesper Bodelson on bass. Ed is uniquely close to both of these musicians. He's played with them for so many years, And what we're going to see now is first a little section about Karsten and Ed when they did a duo gig.
Copenhagen is a nice city, Karsten. I'm glad we started out early. Right? That's what I said.
I consider myself as a student with him. Not only as a student, but also as a son, you know, because he's been a mentor, even when I didn't know him.
Is that the place?
Yeah, that's the place. He likes to consider the room as a place where we all go in a certain space together. And that space is of very, very high dignity.
You said where you're comfortable first.
Yeah, I don't know. Something like this. Yeah. There has to be some certain points of being together that has to be secured before he feels secure. Before he opens up, he has to feel that there is a certain love at the stage. But he can also be a professional at any time. If there's a bad atmosphere, he can switch over. And he can actually take that badness away by being gentle. When you get this basic rhythm going, then you can actually, on top of that, build some kind of a form and structure. If you have the technical ability, you can include humor and poetry. We have humor. I can just play pling, pling, you know, one note or whatever. And we can tell a story together.
Another time I went along with the camera when they were rehearsing with Jesper Bodelsen on bass. This was the day before they were going to do a gig at Tivoli. It was a real big gig with a big audience.
Were you out at the beach today?
Yeah, just for like
What?
1 or 2 hours.
Nice.
If I play with the European drummers, the way I play when I play with Ed doesn't work with them. If I've been playing a lot with other drummers, and like we're going on tour with Ed, we just have to meet and play as a duo to get back to how he wants it to be.
You have to have chops for everything. They call it chops, skills. And my leadership skills, I think they're now in a better state. I'm starting to write more tunes. I'm more confident about who I am, what I want to do, how I want it to be. You remember shuffle on. How does that go? Yeah,
I learned a lot in terms of understanding that music has to have some frames that you put out a show, and that's what he came from his father and Joe Jones. But I also have this rebellion temperament. He likes that too. And sometimes I pop out of the box, you know, and I go crazy.
Now, if you want to go round delay on that,
Yeah, maybe.
okay. But if you do that, go to the bridge.
Okay.
Bam, 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 bam,
Again.
bam, bam, to me.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
You know, and don't make it too long.
No.
Yeah, we have a good rapport. You know, Karsten and Jesper, you know, they're my kids in a sense. But even beyond that, I'm learning a lot of things from them. So you can take that round delay, and our cue will be when you go wow, wow.
Yeah. Maybe I don't do it, you know.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you made, but when we come back, we may want to go out. We start looking at each other.
But you know what I love? I love when the communication on the stage is like,
Say, let's go.
and we never know what's happening. We start laughing, you know, something happens.
Well, sometimes I'm trying to feel the room too, how we build
Right.
up. So we build up to it.
He's very good at putting the room together. Make the stage and the audience go together into a room. And when you're in that room, you don't feel any stress, you just feel happy. You just feel it's funny, it's great, it's fun. That's why we play this music.
I'm looking so much forward for tomorrow.
Yeah.
To play the game.
Say, Jimmy, say hi.
Yeah.
Well, Michelle, if you know how to stack them.
Yeah, yeah. You just relax.
Huh?
You relax.
Okay. I feel blessed, really. I've got two wonderful children, now a wonderful little granddaughter. I remember one time a friend was saying, well, what about your career, man? I said, my children are my career. This is my work. Now I'm back to my career. She has her child, and they're grown people now. I'm finally getting to the point where I can let them go, find a life for myself. People always say that children are so dependent on parents, but sometimes I think it's the opposite.
I think it's very important for people to see that he's still on top level, even though he lives in Denmark and not in the United States.
I hope that people will come to realize now that he has reached this stage of maturity, that all of these things he did in the past can be put together in a special way.
Right now, I think that I'm back on track to do the things I've always wanted to do. That is to bring joy through music. Get back on the track that you're not one-dimensional, playing different styles, but make sure the music is swinging, because that's what I do in this milieu. Jazz, as the good Lord said, this is your mother. Those who believe in me are your mothers and your brothers and your sisters. Just want to make good music and joy and happiness for everybody.
So you've been watching this whole film, and maybe you're wondering, what do I think of Ed Thigpen? And I think it's probably pretty obvious, but I can say it right here. I think he's one of the most admirable people I've ever met. Just the way that he withstood all the pressure and all the setbacks in his life, and how he was such a strong father figure, how he's continued to teach the music through the years, and how perpetually curious he is about learning new things and meeting new people, and how he creates new challenges for himself. I really think it's quite extraordinary.
I'm going to be a composer when I'm 80. That'll be my debut with full orchestra.
Hey boppers, Keon here, and you've just heard the final episode in our series on seminal jazz drummer Ed Thigpen. We hope you have enjoyed this glimpse into the life of one of jazz's most beloved drummers, and also that you have developed perhaps an appreciation for the vast range of influences Ed strove to incorporate into his music throughout his life. These podcasts are culled from the documentary Ed Thigpen, Master of Time, Rhythm, and Taste, directed by Don McGlynn, edited by Frank Axelson and Christian Molkeyleth, with sound by Thomas Martin. Bop is produced by Don McGlynn, co-produced by Mark Canner and Franny Alfano, and edited by me, Keon Vaziri. Until next time, thanks and take care.